What came before everything? Before stars blinked awake, before mountains rose, before time began ticking forward, there was nothing. Not quiet, not peace, not darkness, not even space for those things to exist. Only chaos. Let me know in the comments, where in the world are you watching from tonight? And what time is it there as you drift off to sleep? Now close your eyes and imagine a place that isn't really a place at all. A realm with no edge and no center, no weight or shape. Chaos was not a swirling storm or a booming void. It was the absence of everything we might recognize. It had no color, because color had not yet been born. No light, no shadows, no above, no below, just stillness beyond understanding, an infinite pause before anything had stirred. But chaos, in its deep formlessness, was not lifeless. It held within it the potential for all things, like a seed buried in eternal soil, waiting. Slowly, imperceptibly, something began to shift. There was no clock ticking the moments forward, yet change arrived nonetheless. The first presence to take form was Gaia, the Earth. Not all at once, and not in the way we understand a planet today. Gaia was not a sphere in space, but the spirit of land, the quiet strength of solidness, the beginning of grounding and place. She did not appear with sound or light, but as a deep and gentle forming beneath the formless. Mountains curled upward, valleys hollowed softly, caverns breathed their first still breath. Gaia was warmth and weight and welcome. She brought with her the idea of here, the first sense of somewhere rather than nowhere. She stretched slowly across chaos, not conquering it, but giving it company. And with her arrival, the balance began to tip. Chaos was no longer alone. She was not hurried. Gaia had no need to rush. Her essence was endurance, the patience of stone, the resilience of soil. She spread, curled, lifted, and settled in ways no human eye would ever witness, for there were no eyes yet to see. But if you had stood then, within the silence of that dawning moment, you might have felt the slow blooming of her presence, like warmth rising from rock after dusk. From this new ground, other beings would soon emerge. But in these earliest moments, Gaia rested in her stillness. She did not race toward creation. She simply existed completely gently, her surface stretched smooth and silent, a canvas for things to come. Beneath her form, possibility hummed, soft and low, waiting. And from that hush, two more ancient presences arrived, Erebus and Nyx, darkness and night. But theirs was not the kind of darkness to fear. Erebus flowed across Gaia's new shape like ink in water, tracing ridges and valleys with calm precision. His presence gave depth to the world, shadows where rest could settle, silence where dreams might one day drift. He filled the hollows Gaia had made, lining the spaces with velvet black. His was the stillness of deep caves and the underside of leaves, the peace of night when all is quiet. And then came Nyx, flowing behind him like a whisper made of silk. She wasn't yet the night sky, but the idea of it. A promise of cool dusk and glimmering mystery. Nyx didn't speak, for there were no words yet, but her movement was language enough. She swirled through Gaia's skies, trailing the suggestion of stars not yet born, folding calmness into the windless air. Her presence was soft and sacred. Where she moved, sleep could follow. Her body shimmered with potential, not of danger, but of beauty, dreams, and quiet. She moved like a hush before song, like the feeling of being watched by something ancient and kind. In time, mortals would sing her praises in candlelit temples. But now, in the world's infancy, she needed no worship to shine. Together, Erebus and Nyx wove a blanket of softness over the forming earth, not to hide it, but to hold it. Their arrival was not a disruption, but a deepening. The universe, still so young it had no need for words, began to thrum with rhythm, a pulse in the silence, and still chaos lingered around it all. Not banished, not destroyed. Chaos was the canvas on which everything would be painted. Gaia's land, Erebus's darkness, Nyx's flowing night. They were not replacing the void, but rising from it. the way a dream emerges from sleep or a thought from the stillness of the mind. The world remained quiet, suspended in soft change. There was no thunder to announce their coming. No light to mark the event, only a gradual layering of presence upon presence, the first textures of existence, earth and night and deep shadow all beginning to echo in the silence. These first moments were slow, timeless, soft, a world not yet awake, but no longer entirely asleep. In time, though time itself had not yet been named, more would come. Love, light, sky, but for now, in this gentle beginning, Gaia curled beneath Nyx's starless cloak, Erebus folded himself into the hollows of the land, and chaos eternal and patient held them all. You are floating now in the quiet before stories had stories, the hush before the first voice. Let yourself drift there where nothing presses in and everything is just beginning to stir. And the universe, vast and unknowable, breathes with you. Beneath the velvet hush of Nyx and the soft folds of Erebus, Gaia began to stir. She had already taken form, but now she breathed, not with lungs or sound, but with presence. The earth herself, ancient, eternal, expanded from stillness into something more. Her awakening was not sudden. There was no jolt, no thunderclap, only the slow blossoming of awareness, of gravity, of shape. Gaia unfurled gently across the void, tracing herself into being. With no hands she molded peaks, with no eyes she dreamed valleys into depth. Forests not yet formed waited in the hush of her skin. Rivers, though dry, lay sleeping in the folds of her flesh. She stretched toward the edges of what could be, not to escape chaos, but to cradle it. The deep stillness that came before everything now lived beneath her as a quiet heartbeat, steady and slow. There was no sun to shine upon her yet, but she glowed softly from within, the warm amber light of potential. From her vast body rose the earliest mountains, not jagged or towering, but gentle mounds of stone pressing upward like breath through earth. Beneath those slopes, roots that had never known trees began to weave themselves together. It was as if she was remembering something not yet lived. Her surface was not empty, though life in the form we know it had not arrived. There was motion, delicate, dreamy motion. Breezes not yet born shifted in suggestion only, the memory of winds to come. Mists clung to lowlands that did not yet know rain. The earth did not speak, but it hummed, a quiet vibration like the echo of a distant voice calling across time. Gaia was more than land. She was more than rock. She was the deep, constant mother, a presence that bore weight and welcomed rest. The kind of stillness that is not empty but full. The stillness of lying down and being held by something larger than yourself. There were no stars overhead yet, no constellations to map her curves. But her hills were constellations in their own right, shapes and patterns rising from silence, inviting stories not yet told. Her canyons hinted at future rivers, her plateaus dreamed of sky. Every fold of Gaia's form was a whisper, not a secret, but a promise. That this place, this earth, would be held gently, and that one day it would hold others in turn. She did not rush to fulfill that promise. The rhythm of her becoming was slower than thought, deeper than breath. Above her, Nyx still drifted, cloaking the world in a night without stars. And Erebus remained, a presence of comfort in the dark. Together they created the first sense of harmony. Earth below, night above, silence all around, not in conflict, but in balance, a cosmic lullaby made of form, shadow, and breathless time. From Gaia's deepest caverns, unseen and quiet, other powers were beginning to awaken, ancient shapes without names, forces that had not yet decided whether to rise or remain hidden. But still, Gaia breathed. Still she waited. Her body became a map not of borders, but of potential. She did not claim territory. She offered embrace. The first valleys cradled the first stillness. The first ridges touched the edge of becoming. Somewhere deep within her, warmth gathered. Not fire, not yet, but the idea of warmth. The potential for heat, for hearth, for life. There were no birds to sing over her hills, no leaves to rustle, no rivers to run, yet every piece of her hummed with the echo of those future sounds. The earth dreamed of life long before it arrived, and in her dreaming she shaped the very place where life could begin. If you were to walk upon Gaia now, there would be no paths, no footprints, only soft stone, untouched soil, and the whisper of forming time. The air would feel thick with silence, but not empty. It would feel like waiting. Above her, the sky had not yet opened. There was no sun, no moon. But the space above, vast and untouched, began to stretch. It was as though Gaia's awakening called for something to answer, a counterpart, a companion. Sky had not yet been born, but the shape of longing was there, earth looking up into nothing, waiting for a gaze to meet her own. But for now she rested, not in exhaustion, but in fullness. She had formed herself from formlessness. She had made a place where shape could gather, where rest could root. The silence around her was no longer empty. It was pregnant with presence, the kind of quiet that holds a future gently cradled just beneath its surface. She did not speak. Gaia never needed to. Her language was stone and stillness, curve and cradle, and from the depths of her presence the first sense of belonging began to rise, not just for herself, but for all that would one day walk upon her, drink from her, sleep in her arms. This was the earth before time, before gods, before breath, and still it breathed. Soon other forces would awaken. Light would arrive, sky would bloom above her. But Gaia, patient, powerful Gaia, had already made her place in the cosmos. And you listening now can rest upon her still. Let your body feel her weight beneath you. The same presence, the same cradle. Let your thoughts soften into the silence she knew. Let yourself drift, held in the hush of Earth's first dream, the dream of being, of holding, of hope. The earth had taken shape beneath you, firm and warm, but the sky above was still a mystery wrapped in silence. Into this vastness came Erebus and Nyx, ancient siblings born from chaos itself, not fierce or wild, but calm and steady presences, weaving shadow and night across the young world. Erebus, the deep darkness, moved like a river of velvet, sliding softly over Gaia's hills and valleys. His essence was not the absence of light in a frightening way, but the quiet that follows the setting sun, a hush that invites rest and reflection. He filled the spaces where light would not yet reach, creating shelter in the folds of the land. Erebus was the stillness in caves untouched by the sun, the gentle shadow beneath tree branches, where the air cools and breath slow. His touch was soft, a whispered promise of comfort, a cloak wrapped around the earth, tender and complete. Following close behind, Nyx emerged, the night itself, draped in mystery and quiet grace. She was a silent dancer, flowing across the horizon like a curtain of ink, softened with stars not yet visible. Her presence was deep and nurturing, not cold or empty, but warm and embracing. Nyx's arrival brought the promise of dreams, that sacred place between wakefulness and sleep where the mind wanders free. She was the quiet breath before sleep's embrace, the gentle darkness that allows eyes to close without fear. Together, Nyx and Erebus formed a pair, light's necessary counterpart, but not in opposition. Instead, they moved in harmony, weaving the tapestry of night. Their dance was slow and endless, a seamless blending of shadow and silence that wrapped the world in peace. Where Erebus filled the hollows and dips of the land, Nyx crowned the sky with soft, impenetrable quiet. She folded herself gently over Gaia, her dark cloak stretching from horizon to horizon. To horizon, there were no stars yet to shine upon her fabric, only the soft suggestion of light waiting to be born. Beneath this great darkness, the world breathed in new rhythms. The heartbeat of Earth slowed beneath Nyx's shroud, finding rest in the velvet black. Creatures and plants had not yet arrived, but the space was ready. A cradle for life's dreams. Imagine yourself standing in a quiet valley beneath a sky so dark, it feels like velvet draped overhead. The air is cool, still, filled with the scent of untouched earth. There is no sound but the soft rustling of invisible wings, the whispers of night itself. Erebus's shadows stretch long and soft around you, creating pockets of silence where thoughts can settle. Nyx's presence wraps the sky in a gentle embrace, inviting you to let go and sink deeper into calm. In this moment, the boundaries between day and night do not exist. Instead, there is only flow, a seamless movement from light's promise to darkness's comfort. Nyx and Erebus remind us that night is not to be feared, but to be cherished, a time for rest, for reflection, for dreams to take flight. Their arrival marked a new layer of existence, one of balance and rhythm. The world was no longer just Earth, but Earth resting beneath a vast canopy of night. This night was soft and welcoming, an endless horizon where all things might find peace. From the depths of Erebus, silence spoke in whispers. From Nyx's flowing cloak, dreams began to stir. Together they shaped the space where time might one day flow and creatures might find refuge. Their presence was ancient and endless, an eternal cycle waiting to unfold. For now, they were the calm before the dawn, the quiet embrace that holds the universe in stillness. And as you listen now, wrapped in the same peaceful night, you become part of this cosmic rhythm. Your breath slows with the pulse of earth and sky. Your thoughts drift gently like leaves on a silent river. Let the darkness hold you, soft and safe. Let the night cradle you, vast and kind. You are resting in the arms of Nyx and Erebus, the ancient guardians of silence and dreams. And in this quiet, the story of creation continues to unfold, slowly, gently, endlessly. The night deepens and the universe breathes with you. Beneath Gaia's vast and gentle surface, beyond the hills and valleys where Erebus's shadows play, there lay a deeper place still. This was Tartarus, not a place of torment or terror, as later tales might suggest, but a realm of profound stillness and quiet depth. It was the deep below, the hidden foundation upon which the world rested. Imagine descending softly into a vast cavern, far beneath the reach of sun or star. The air grows cooler, the silence deepens. Here time slows almost to a stop. This is a place not meant for haste, but for rest. A sanctuary wrapped in stone and shadow. Tartarus was the earth's silent heart, the place where weight gathers and stillness dwells. It was the quiet that holds all things together, the unseen support beneath the shifting surface. In this vast underground realm, the walls shimmer with a faint, cool glow, not bright but steady, like the pulse of ancient stone. Stalactites and stalagmites stretch like sleeping sentinels, guarding the peace that lives here. The sound is the soft echo of breath, yours, the Earth's, the universe's, reverberating gently through endless tunnels. Each step you take is cushioned by the deep, soft floor, as if the very ground itself breathes beneath you. Here there are no sharp edges or sudden noises, only the slow, rhythmic heartbeat of the world's foundation. It is a place to sink into, to rest against, to feel held by something vast and unwavering. Tartarus is not empty. It is full of quiet power, a vast reservoir of calm strength that holds the earth steady above. It is the shadow beneath the shadow, the stillness beneath the stillness. From this deep realm, the roots of life will one day draw strength. The storms that rage on Gaia's surface find their counterbalance here, in the silent depths. In your mind's eye, picture yourself seated on a smooth stone floor, the coolness of the cavern embracing your skin. Around you, the ancient walls hum softly with the memory of countless ages, a song without words but full of meaning. Here time is a gentle current, flowing without hurry. You feel yourself slowing, your breath sinking with the rhythm of this underground sanctuary. The cares of waking life drift away, replaced by a profound sense of peace. Tartarus holds the beginning and the end, the hidden and the revealed. It is the secret heart of the world, vast and patient. Imagine the slow drip of water echoing through the caverns, not a harsh sound, but a soft cadence marking the passage of moments. Tiny crystals catch this water, sparkling faintly in the dim light, like scattered stars fallen beneath the earth. The air here smells of cool stone and ancient roots, mingled with a faint, earthy musk, the scent of time itself. Breathing in, you feel this scent settle deep into your lungs, calming your thoughts. Far above, Gaia's surface seems distant, softened by layers of rock and soil. You are held here in a stillness so profound that it feels like a slow, deep breath, a pause in the heart of existence. You sense that Tartarus is not just below, but within. It is the deep place inside every living thing, the space where rest is sacred and renewal begins. As you sit in this quiet sanctuary, you feel the slow stirring of something new. Beneath the stillness, beneath the weight, there is a gentle pulse, the first soft beat of connection, of warmth growing in the cold. A soft breeze stirs in the cavern, carrying with it the faintest hint of something fresh, something unseen but deeply felt. It moves like a whisper, brushing against your skin, reminding you that even in the deepest dark, life holds its breath, waiting patiently to awaken. In this moment, you are part of the ancient rhythm. The silent song of stone and shadow, of earth and sky, flows through you. You are held in the deep, safe, and serene. And as you rest here, held in Tartarus's embrace, you feel the faintest hint of movement, a promise of life, of love, of light that will one day rise. But for now, the world remains suspended in quiet strength. The deep below holds its breath, steady and calm. You are safe. You are held. You are resting in the deep, and the world, in all its mystery and wonder, breathes with you. From the deep stillness of Tartarus, a new presence began to stir, soft, subtle, yet powerful beyond measure. This was Eros, the first spark of love and creation. Not the loud or fiery passion we might imagine, but a gentle, glowing thread weaving through the fabric of the universe. Eros was the breath between heartbeats, the quiet longing that whispers in silence. He was the invisible force pulling things together, the first pulse of connection after endless solitude. Imagine a tiny flame flickering in the darkness, delicate yet unyielding. This flame did not scorch or burn, but warmed and invited. It was the seed of desire, the promise that all things might come together in harmony. Eros moved like a soft breeze weaving through the newborn world. His touch was light, like the caress of morning light on a still lake, stirring the surface into gentle ripples. From him sprang the power to create, to form bonds, to awaken life from potential. Without Eros, Gaia's solid earth and the endless night of Nyx would have remained separate, isolated islands in the vast sea of chaos. But with Eros, the world began to hum with quiet energy. Forces once distant reached out to one another. Mountains leaned toward the sky. Rivers sought the ocean. Stars longed to shine together. Eros was the unseen melody that called all things into a dance, not a frantic or hurried dance, but a slow, graceful movement, a weaving of threads, a stitching of dreams. In this dance, creation found its rhythm. Gaia's earth, Nyx's night, Erebus's shadow, each began to flow toward connection, drawn by the tender power of love. Imagine yourself standing in a quiet garden at dawn, the air fresh and still. The first light touches the leaves, making them shimmer with gentle color. A soft breeze stirs the petals, sending a sweet scent drifting softly on the air. That is the feeling of Eros, quiet, beautiful, full of promise. He does not rush or demand. Instead, he invites and nurtures and nurtures. His presence is a calm pulse beneath the surface of all things, a steady heartbeat guiding the slow unfolding of life. Eros is the gentle weaving thread stitching the universe's vast tapestry. His light touches the oceans, coaxing waves to meet the shore in an endless embrace. He whispers to the forests, encouraging leaves to flutter and flowers to bloom in tender cycles. Feel how Eris's subtle warmth spreads like the first glow of sunrise, filling the chill of space with comforting light. He moves silently through the quiet cosmos, his touch awakening seeds hidden in the earth and stars waiting to be born. The gentle energy of Eros flows through everything, from the tiniest grain of sand to the vast stretches of sky. His presence is felt in the hush between breaths, the quiet moments before dawn, and the soft sigh of the evening breeze. He is the unseen force that guides rivers to carve valleys, clouds to gather, and life to find its way. The world seemed to pulse softly with new possibility, as if Eris's touch set an invisible thread vibrating through all things. This thread wove quietly yet persistently, encouraging the distant stars to shine brighter and the mountains to rise taller, the forests to grow deeper, the rivers to sing clearer songs. Every corner of the newborn cosmos felt this tender force weaving connection, where once there was only separation. Thus, Iris's presence was the gentle nudge that turned mere existence into relationship, the force that drew the first breath from stillness and the first glance from solitude. If you close your eyes, you might imagine yourself walking slowly along a shaded woodland path, where the air is cool and filled with the sweet scent of blooming flowers. Sunlight filters softly through the leaves, dappling the ground with warm patches of light. This is the world Eros invites us into, one where love is not a thunderous storm, but a soft, steady current carrying us gently through the days and nights of existence. Feel that current now flowing through your body. It is a warm glow in your chest, a quiet flame that never falters. Let it fill you with calm and peace, with the knowing that you are part of this vast, loving dance. Eros does not hurry. He moves at the pace of dawn unfolding or flowers blooming. His dance is slow, deliberate, and endlessly patient. He teaches us that love is not a race or a fire to be consumed, but a gentle light to be carried and nurtured. As you breathe in the presence of this first spark, feel your own heartbeat slow and steady. Your thoughts soften, drifting like leaves floating on a still pond. Your body relaxes deeper into the surface beneath you, carried by the gentle waves of love's awakening. Eros is the quiet promise that nothing is truly alone. Even in the vastness of space and time, the threads of connection pull softly, bringing worlds and hearts together. Let yourself drift on this current, wrapped in the warm embrace of creation's first love. You are held, you are safe, you are part of a story that began long ago in the stillness beneath the earth and will continue forever. The dance of creation has begun, and you move with it, a graceful step in the endless unfolding, and the universe, wrapped in love's first light, breathes with you. From the gentle unfolding of Eris's love, the world continued to grow and take shape. Now a new presence rose above the earth, Uranus, the vast and endless sky. Imagine looking upward into a boundless dome of soft, endless blue, stretching farther than the eye can see. This was Uranus, the sky god, wrapping the earth in a wide, protective embrace. He was not just a roof over the world, but a living presence, deep, calm, and steady. His vastness held the winds, the clouds, the stars, and the endless sweep of day and night. Picture the first light of dawn spilling across the horizon, painting the sky with gentle hues of pink and gold. The air feels cool and fresh, filled with the quiet hum of possibility. Uranus's breath was the soft wind that stirred the leaves, the gentle current that carried birds on their morning flights. His voice was the distant rumble of thunder, the quiet murmur of rain. He held the world tenderly, a vast blue dome resting lightly above Gaia's solid earth. The two were bound in an eternal embrace, the sky leaning gently upon the earth reaching upward to meet the sky. From this connection, the first children of the gods were born, the Titans, powerful and ancient beings who carried the strength of both earth and sky within them. Imagine watching clouds drift slowly across the sky, their shapes shifting softly like dreams. Feel the cool breeze on your skin, the gentle touch of air that surrounds and soothes. Uranus's sky was a vast, peaceful canvas, alive with slow-moving stars that twinkled gently in the night. They cast a soft light that bathed the world in calm, guiding the cycles of time. As you breathe in this serene sky, feel the vastness above you expansive and quiet. Let its calm wrap around your shoulders like a soft cloak, carrying you gently into deeper rest. The dance of earth and sky continues, a slow, eternal rhythm of meeting and parting, giving and receiving. You are part of this dance, held between the solid ground beneath and the open sky above. And the universe, wrapped in the vast blue dome, breathes with you. Imagine yourself lying in a quiet meadow beneath that endless sky. The grass is soft beneath you, cool and inviting. Above, the blue stretches on without end, a gentle ceiling that holds and protects. Clouds drift lazily, their edges glowing with the soft light of the sun. Each one moves slowly, carried by the invisible hands of the wind. The breeze brushes gently across your skin, carrying the fresh scent of wildflowers and earth. In the distance, you hear the faint call of birds, their songs drifting softly on the air. The world feels still and safe, wrapped in the gentle embrace of sky and earth. Uranus's presence is felt in every breath of wind, every shifting cloud, every distant star. His calm strength holds the world steady, a silent guardian watching over the unfolding story. As the sun begins to set, the sky deepens into shades of lavender and rose. The first stars emerge, twinkling softly like tiny lanterns in the vast night. The cool night air wraps around you like a soothing blanket. The sounds of the day fade, replaced by the quiet chorus of crickets and the gentle rustle of leaves. Look up and see the Milky Way stretching across the sky, a river of light flowing through the darkness. This is Uranus's domain, vast, mysterious, and endlessly beautiful. Feel your breath slow as you sink deeper into rest beneath this great dome. Let the peaceful night carry you, rocking you gently toward dreams. The union of earth and sky is a story as old as time. Their embrace creates life, change, and endless possibility. You are cradled in this eternal dance, part of a universe that moves with quiet grace. And as you close your eyes, wrapped in the vast blue dome, know that you are safe, you are loved, and you are part of this eternal dance. The universe, endless and serene, breathes with you. As the endless sky of Uranus stretched above and the solid earth of Gaia held steady below, from their union came a new generation, the Titans. These colossal beings embodied strength and the slow unfolding of time itself. Imagine towering figures standing gently between earth and sky, their forms vast and calm, like ancient mountains carved by the slowest rivers. They were not fierce or hurried, but steady and enduring, the first children of a world coming into being. The Titans moved with a deep, deliberate grace, each step a patient beat in the great rhythm of creation. Their presence was like the steady flow of a river carving canyons, the slow growth of a mighty oak, or the quiet unfolding of a flower's petals. Among them were Oceanus, the endless river encircling the world, whose waters flowed smoothly and endlessly; Hyperion, the light bringer who gazed steadily into the distance; and Cronus, the youngest but wisest, holding the secret cycles of time in his hands. Picture the vastness of their forms blending into the landscapes, their breath, the soft wind rustling through forests, their voices, the gentle rumble of distant thunder. They were both part of the world and its protectors, shaping and sustaining the earth beneath and the sky above. The Titans were slow to anger, slow to action, embodying patience and endurance. Their strength was not sudden or violent, but a quiet, constant force, like the tides that ebb and flow with steady certainty, or the mountains that rise and endure through ages. Imagine a gentle morning mist rising from a calm lake, soft and enveloping. The Titans moved with that same unhurried power, shaping the rhythms of day and night, seasons and years. They taught the world about the importance of balance between motion and stillness, between growth and rest. Their reign was long and unhurried, a time when the earth and sky found harmony in the patient unfolding of life. As the sun rises slowly, bathing the world in golden light, Imagine the Titans watching over this calm awakening. Their eyes hold the wisdom of countless ages, seeing the slow dance of clouds, the steady turning of seasons, and the quiet growth of every living thing. The Titans' strength was also gentle, their hands shaping rivers that meandered lazily, carving valleys over millennia. Their breath was the steady wind that cooled the earth and whispered through tall grass. In this age, the world was a place of deep calm and endless possibility. The Titan's presence was a quiet reminder that growth need not be rushed, that patience holds its own kind of power. Imagine resting beneath an ancient tree, its roots deep and strong like the Titans themselves. Feel the slow pulse of the earth beneath you, steady and sure, as if echoing their eternal heartbeat. The sky above remains vast and quiet, a soft blue dome embracing all beneath it. The Titans stand as guardians between earth and sky, embodying the slow, steady rhythm of existence. They are the slow-moving glaciers carving the land, the long shadows stretching across the hills at dusk. Their energy flows like deep rivers beneath the surface, unseen but always present, shaping the world with steady hands. Imagine the gentle crackle of leaves underfoot on a soft forest floor, the distant call of a lone owl beginning its watch. The air is cool and filled with the scent of moss and pine. This is the realm of the Titans, calm, patient, and enduring. Their presence is like the steady heartbeat beneath the silence, a pulse that carries the earth through cycles of rest and renewal. As night falls, the Titans watch over the sleeping world, their forms blending with the twilight shadows. Stars twinkle above, each one a quiet beacon of light in the vast dark. Feel the steady rhythm of your breath, slow and deep, echoing the patient strength of these ancient beings. With every inhale, you draw in their calm energy. With every exhale, you release tension and worry. The Titans teach us that power is not always loud or sudden. Sometimes it is the quiet strength that carries us through the longest nights, the patient force that moves mountains in silence. Picture yourself floating gently on a calm lake at dawn, the waters smooth as glass, reflecting the soft colors of the waking sky. Around you, the world is still, held in a delicate balance between sleep and awakening. The slow dance of the Titans is everywhere. In the turning of the seasons, the rise and fall of tides, the growth of forests reaching skyward. You are part of this great unfolding, connected to the patient pulse that moves through all living things. As you rest beneath the vast sky and steady earth, feel yourself carried by the gentle power of the Titans. Let their calm strength fill you, steadying your mind and body. In their presence you can release all haste and worry. Here, time moves at a peaceful pace, and every moment is a chance to breathe deeply and rest fully. Know that you are held, supported, and cherished by forces as ancient and enduring as the stars. And as you drift deeper into rest, wrapped in the patient embrace of the Titans, the universe breathes with you, slow, steady, eternal. Long before rivers carved their paths and waves rolled across open seas, there was Oceanus, the ancient river that encircled the world. He was not a god of storm or tempest, but of endless flow, quiet motion, and the deep stillness found only in the oldest waters. Born of Uranus and Gaia, and elder among the Titans, Oceanus did not war or rage. Instead, he circled the earth in calm and eternal rhythm, embracing all that lived with his silent tides. Close your eyes and drift now toward that vast primordial stream. Picture a world unbroken by continents, where Oceanus flows in an immense circle, encasing land and sky alike, endless and unbound. His waters are not salty like modern seas, but cool and sweet, pure and ancient. The first water, the mother of rivers, streams, lakes, and all that flows. Imagine standing at the edge of this mythical river. The air is hushed, the surface of the water smooth like polished stone, reflecting a deep indigo sky scattered with stars. There is no wind, only the soft sound of current upon shore, like a whispered lullaby in a forgotten tongue. You dip your hand into the water and feel it, cool, alive, and patient. Carrying stories older than time itself, Oceanus was unlike the later sea gods who stirred tempests and lashed coastlines. He moved slowly, a liquid boundary between the known and the unknown. His flow was neither aggressive nor chaotic. It was soft and circular, a great cosmic breath, inhaling and exhaling in rhythm with the stars. From his endless movement came all waters, the thousand rivers that would wind through valleys, the underground springs that would rise in quiet forests, the mountain streams that would tumble over stones with joyous laughter. Oceanus fathered them all, alongside his consort, Tethys, the mother of fresh waters. Together they birthed the rivers, gentle Meander winding like a ribbon across Anatolia, bold Nile pouring life into deserts, calm Eurotas, cradled by the green hills of Laconia. Each river a child of the great encircling stream, each with its own personality, yet all flowing from the same ancient source. Imagine the world before maps, when the edge of the sea was the edge of thought. Beyond the western horizon lay not void, but the arms of Oceanus looping back with patient certainty. Mariners believed that if they sailed far enough, they would find his stream, not an end, but a gentle return. The Greeks did not fear him. He was not a god of punishment or fury, but of protection and distance, a tranquil limit to the earth's reach. And though he was vast, he never imposed. He let the world turn within his arms, offering space for life to unfold undisturbed. Oceanus himself never joined the great battles between the gods. When the Titans rose against the Olympians, he remained apart, flowing steadily through the edges of the earth. Even Cronus, who ruled for a time, could not command the waters of Oceanus. They obeyed only the pull of time and the whisper of stars. You might imagine him now as an immense being with skin like deep water, eyes glowing softly with starlight, and hair flowing endlessly like river currents. Yet no words escape his mouth, for he speaks in waves, in ripples, in the slow dance of tides. His power is not noise, but continuity, a promise that the world will keep turning, that the rivers will keep flowing, and that the sea will always offer a place to return. In some stories, he was so distant that even the sun had to sail upon his waters to return from west to east. Each evening, as the golden light slipped below the western horizon, it was said to ride the dark currents of Oceanus through the shadowed world, cradled in a golden cup or a gentle boat, emerging at dawn on the other side of the sky. Let yourself float now in that eternal stream. No effort is needed. The current bears you gently, and the water holds your weight. Around you, the sky darkens into velvet night, and stars shimmer overhead like flecks of light scattered by the gods. You hear no waves crashing, only the hush of movement, the breath of water through stone, the ancient lull of time stretching on. Here in the arms of Oceanus, there is no urgency, only rhythm, only rest. Perhaps in some quiet part of the soul, we all remember this stream, a river without banks, a tide that never recedes, the place from which all flow begins, and to which all things return. Beneath the surface, silver fish drift slowly in schools. Plants sway gently in the current, unbothered by storms or seasons. And above, the stars reflect back on the water's face, like memories seen from the edge of sleep. The waters of Oceanus are a mirror and a cradle. They carry not just the body, but the mind, washing away the day's noise, drawing out worry, and leaving only peace. With each gentle wave, tension melts. With each ripple, your breath slows. And as your thoughts begin to dissolve, you are simply a part of the flow, not separate, not adrift, but held. There is nothing you must do here, no destination you must reach. Oceanus flows in a circle, always returning, always carrying you home. So drift now, listener, in these first waters. Let them wash over your thoughts and carry you to a place before names, before time, the edge of the world where quiet reigns, and where sleep, like water, welcomes you without question. Breathe deeply, exhale slowly. Let the tide draw you further into rest. You are in the embrace of Oceanus, and he has been waiting for you for a very long time. Long before Apollo's golden chariot blazed across the sky, and before Artemis strung her silver bow in the night, there were older lights, more ancient, more silent. They came not from Olympus, but from the earliest roots of the cosmos. The sun, the moon, and the dawn were once the children of Hyperion and Rhea, radiant Titan deities whose legacy still lingers in the sky above. Hyperion was the Titan of light, but not the flickering firelight of hearths, nor the storm-born lightning of Zeus. His was a deeper illumination, the elemental glow that allows the world to be seen. A quiet, steady brightness, a vision of form emerging from formless dark. Where his brother Oceanus flowed around the world, Hyperion lit it. He and Rhea, whose name means a sight or a divine shimmer, brought into being three celestial children: Helios the sun, Selene the moon, and Eos the dawn. These siblings, older than the Olympians, older than the myths of heroes and wars, rose and fell in the sky with solemn regularity, marking the rhythm of life long before calendars were carved or clocks began to tick. Let us begin with Helios, the firstborn, the radiant one. Imagine him now, not the playful Apollo of later tales, but Helios the Titan, immense and tireless, driving his blazing chariot across the heavens each day. 4 golden-winged horses, their hooves pounding the sky, pulled his vehicle from the eastern gate to the western edge, where Oceanus waited to receive him. At dawn, Helios rose from his golden palace in the east, lighting the mountains, then the hills, then the valleys below. His light was not gentle. It was the clean, unveiling light of truth. Shadows retreated before him. Flowers turned their faces toward him. Waters sparkled in his path. He saw all. In some tales, even the gods turned from Helios's gaze, for he missed nothing and forgot nothing. But when his daily journey ended, he did not vanish. The Greeks imagined that Helios would board a great golden cup, a vessel large enough to carry his burning presence, and sail beneath the earth through the dark streams of Oceanus, so that he might rise once more in the morning. A cycle eternal and unbroken. Now let us drift to Selene, his sister, the moon goddess, luminous and pale, riding a chariot of silver pulled by gentle white horses. Where Helios blazed, Selene shimmered. Her light was not harsh but reflective. She did not pierce the night, she softened it. Bathing fields, forests, and sleeping cities in ghostly glow, she stirred dreams, guided travelers, and watched over lovers and poets alike. Selene was not shy, but her presence was more intimate than her brother's. Her phases, waxing, full waning, marked the passage of time in the secret of night, and her face was always changing. She was thought to fall in love with the mortal Endymion, who slept forever under her light. Each night she would descend to kiss his still brow, touched by longing, bathed in silver sorrow. Where Helios saw everything, Selene contemplated. Where he watched, she dreamed, and together they defined the balance of day and night, awareness and reflection, clarity and mystery. And then between them there was Eos, the dawn. Eos did not rule the sky, but opened it. Each morning she rose ahead of her brother Helios, painting the horizon in pink and gold. Her fingers, the poet said, were rosy, stretching gently across the heavens to part the veil of night. With dew on her lashes and clouds as her cloak, she danced into the sky with joy renewed each day. Eos was a bringer of beginnings. She heralded the promise of light, the gentle awakening of the world. Birds stirred in their nests, flowers opened their petals, and rivers sparkled in her wake. Yet her stories are often touched by sadness too, for she, like her sister, fell in love with mortals who could not match her eternity. One of them, Tithonus, was granted immortality, but not eternal youth. As he aged and withered, those watched helplessly, her heart torn by the cruelty of time. In this sorrow, we glimpse something deeply human in these ancient beings, that even Titans, those grand forces of nature, could love and grieve. So here in the vault of the sky, we find the legacy of Hyperion and Rhea, a trio of celestial beings whose movement marks every moment of our lives. Each sunrise, Helios returns, even now, though we call him by other names. Each night, Selene glides above us, her silver arc a comfort to the sleepless. And Io still blushes at the horizon's edge, her beauty undimmed by the centuries. Their light is different from the firelight of our home. It is older, woven into the fabric of the world, unclaimed by any temple or priest. It is not the thunder of Zeus, nor the wisdom of Athena, but something gentler, a rhythm, a breath, a steady unfolding of night into day and day into night. Let your thoughts follow Helios in his journey, steady, unwavering, until he disappears beyond the hills. Let your mind drift beneath Selene's soft radiance, cool and calming. Let Io stir some part of your spirit, quietly ready to begin again. In this story, there are no battles, no heroes, no monsters, only light and the passing of time. Only sun, moon, and dawn, the eternal sky turning overhead long after the voices of gods have faded. And you, listener, floating here in quiet thought, are part of that turning. Close your eyes now and feel the light around you, golden, silver, and soft rose, the lights of the first sky, the children of Hyperion still moving in their ancient dance, just as they always have. Rest knowing they will keep watch through the night and return again at dawn. In the quiet stillness after the moon has set and the stars begin to blink more faintly, the story turns once more to a figure of deep grace and patience, the one who would cradle gods in her arms and soothe their cries with the rhythms of the earth. Her name was Rhea, daughter of Gaia and Uranus, sister to the Titans, and destined to become the mother of the Olympians. Where Cronus carried the weight of time and Hyperion bore the light of day, Rhea carried the soft, steady pulse of life. She was not a force of thunder or upheaval, but one of presence, a heartbeat, a whisper, a sanctuary. She moved through the world like the hush before morning, quiet and warm. Her touch was the comfort of a blanket drawn over sleeping shoulders. Her voice was the low murmur of a stream, wrapping the world in lullabies older than language. In Rhea, the world found rest, and it was in rest that life began to grow. She married her brother Cronus, and from their union would come gods that would reshape the cosmos. But even this tale, which will lead us to thunderbolts and thrones, begins gently, wrapped in swaddling cloth, cradled in arms that knew the fragility of birth. Their first child was Hestia, quiet goddess of the hearth flame. Then came Demeter, whose breath would wake the seeds in the soil. Then Hera, regal and watchful. After her, Hades with eyes like shadowed caves, and Poseidon, who stirred the waters even as a child. But Cronus, gripped by fear and prophecy, swallowed each child as they were born, one by one. He had been told that one of his children would overthrow him, just as he had overthrown Uranus. So he acted, not with hesitation, but with the cold certainty of a king clutching power with both hands. Rhea, horrified, watched each birth turn to loss. Her arms, made to hold life, were left empty. Her lullabies turned to silent grief. She moved through her days hollowed, knowing what she had created was being hidden inside her husband's endless stomach, never to see the world. Yet in her silence, a plan grew, not of revenge, but of protection. She carried her sixth child far from Cronus's gaze, and under a sky streaked with morning light, she gave birth to Zeus in secret. She wrapped a stone in soft cloth and offered it in place of her child. Cronus, blind with fear, swallowed it whole. Zeus was hidden in a cave on the island of Crete. There, among goats and stone walls, he was nursed in shadows while the world above carried on, unaware. Rhea's nurturing took the shape of secrecy now. Her love had to work quietly, like roots winding through stone, unseen but unyielding. The cave echoed with the quiet cries of the infant god, and in that solitude, something ancient stirred. The world was not only being protected, it was being prepared, for in Zeus, Rhea placed her final hope, not only to unseat Cronus, but to restore what had been taken from her, the chance to be a mother not to memory, but to living children. Every day she lived in silence. She carved out a space where love could bloom again. Every moment she kept the secret of Zeus's survival. She reshaped the course of destiny. And though this is a tale of future thunder and cosmic battles, here in this moment we rest in the arms of a mother who simply waited, who chose stillness over fury, who knew that sometimes the most powerful thing a god or a woman could do was wait. Rhea, mother of the gods, became a symbol of quiet endurance. She was not worshipped for vengeance or spectacle, but for her constancy, for being the flame that never flickered, even in wind. The earth that stayed soft, even beneath the weight of sorrow. Picture her now, seated beneath an ancient tree, her hands resting in her lap. Around her the grass grows tall. The sun filters through the leaves, dappling her in soft gold. Her gaze is fixed on the distance, but her mind is deeper still. She is a mother who lost, and a mother who hoped, a mother who waited, and a mother who hid the seed of change in the folds of silence. And because of her, a new chapter would soon begin. But not yet, for now the world is still. The stars blink gently above, like the watchful eyes of gods not yet born. The wind hums through the branches, and beneath the surface, the earth breathes. Time is not a river, nor a line, nor a clock ticking quietly on a distant wall. In the old stories, time was a god, and his name was Cronus. He was not the child of gentle light, nor of nurturing earth, but the blade born in darkness. From Gaia and Uranus he came, the youngest of the Titans, and the one who would rise to end the age of sky's dominion. Cronus was the god who cut his father from the heavens, who took the sickle and severed the rule of Uranus with a cold and steady hand. For a moment, power passed to the earth below, to him. And yet, even as he ruled, Cronus was never free. From the start, his reign was shadowed by a prophecy whispered by Gaia herself, that he too would be overthrown by his own child. That time would not stop for him, no matter how tightly he tried to hold it. This was the essence of Cronus. He was time that consumed, not gentle time, not healing time, but the fear of passing. He was the clutching of moments, the refusal to let go. He devoured his children not out of hatred, but desperation, the desperate grasp of someone who knows that every second slips away, and that even the gods cannot turn back the tide. But what does time feel like when it wears a crown? In the age of Cronus, the world was not chaos, nor yet cosmos. It was a still golden dusk. The Greeks called it the Golden Age, a time before toil, before pain, before war, a time when humans, still new and bright-eyed, lived without hunger, without age, without memory of sorrow. The earth bore fruit unbidden, the winds were mild, the world was enough. But golden though it was, this age was bound by silence, for deep beneath the surface, in the belly of Cronus, 5 divine children lay swallowed and waiting. Hestia, Demeter, Hera, Hades, and Poseidon, all cradled not in arms, but in oblivion, swallowed not for their wrongs, but for what they might one day become. And so Cronus sat on his throne alone, time ruling over a world that could not change. There was no war, there was no chaos, but neither was there growth. Without birth, there is no renewal. Without loss, there is no transformation. The very stillness that made the Golden Age shimmer was also its slow undoing. Cronus feared change more than death. When Rhea, his queen, gave birth to their 6th child, Zeus, she could no longer bear to see another life lost to that fear. With trickery born of love, she saved the infant and hid him far away, deep within a cave in Crete. There the future grew quietly, like a hidden flame. Years passed. Cronus felt his strength settle into certainty, but beneath his certainty the prophecy pulsed. Zeus returned as a grown god, tall and bold, filled with thunder and will. With cunning and the help of Metis, he gave Cronus a drink that loosed the swallowed siblings from the pit of his stomach. They came forth, whole and shining, untouched by time's prison, and stood by Zeus's side. What followed was no gentle change. The skies split open, the Titanomachy began, a war of gods and titans that shook the bones of the earth. For 10 years, the sound of thunder and the crack of stone filled the air. Lightning flashed against ancient mountains. The sea boiled, the forests burned. Even the stars blinked uncertainly, unsure who would write the next verse of the cosmos. Cronus fought with the weight of inevitability. Zeus fought with the fire of what might be. In the end, the Titans were cast down. In later myths, softer ones, they say he came to rule the Elysian Isles, the resting place of heroes, his cruelty washed away by the tides of memory. And so, we look back, not to condemn but to understand. Cronus was not evil, he was afraid. Afraid of loss, afraid of irrelevance, afraid that all things, even divine things, must one day end, and perhaps in that fear we see something human. For who among us has not wished to hold a moment forever, to stop the change, to keep the world still just long enough to remember how it felt? But time does not stop. It moves. It teaches. It reshapes us. Even as it slips through our fingers. Cronus ruled the golden dusk, but dusk must give way to night, and night to morning. And so now, with the Titans fallen, the old rain dimming like stars before dawn, we turn our gaze toward the new gods, toward Olympus, toward storm and story. But before we go, let us pause. In this quiet moment, let us remember the God who tried to hold everything in place and could not. Let us remember that even the great are sometimes ruled by fear. And let us breathe and let go. For time is always moving, and the story always continues. Before thrones, before storms, before thunder split the skies, there was a cave, not grand, not gilded, not high on Olympus, just a dark hollow nestled in the folds of Mount Dicte in Crete, damp with earth veiled in moss, and echoing only with silence and dripping stone. And there a child was hidden, a child who would change the world. Zeus, youngest son of Cronus and Rhea, was not born into celebration. His arrival was not met with song or heraldry. It was a secret carved out of fear and desperation, because by the time Rhea came to bear him, she had already watched 5 children vanish, swallowed whole by Cronus. Not out of malice, but out of dread. A prophecy that one of his own offspring would rise and bring about his downfall haunted him like a storm cloud he could never outrun. So each time Rhea bore a child, Cronus waited with cold certainty, took the infant in his arms, and consumed them. First Hestia, then Demeter, then Hera, then Hades, then Poseidon, all of them gone, their cries silenced in a flash of devouring fear. Rhea had mourned them in silence, tears swallowed as deeply as her children. She had stood beside Cronus, pretending composure, while inside her the grief curled and bloomed into something stronger than sorrow, resolve. When she knew Zeus was coming, she made a plan. As her labor approached, she left Mount Olympus, leaving the palace of the Titans behind, and journeyed to the green cradle of Crete, accompanied only by silence and trembling hope. There, on the wild slopes of Mount Dicte, with no midwives or divine attendants, Rhea gave birth beneath the thick boughs of ancient trees. The child came into the world in a hush, his first breath slow, his eyes wide, already seeing more than he should. Rhea did not hold him long. She knew time was narrow. She wrapped him in swaddling cloth, kissed his brow, and handed him to the nymphs. These were not high Olympians or star-clad goddesses. They were quiet caretakers of earth and grove. Amalthea, the she-goat, offered her milk. The nymphs Adraste and Ida nurtured him and played cymbals to mask his cries, and the Curetes, armored dancers, clashed their weapons and stamped their feet, not in war, but in lullaby. They danced outside the cave day and night, pounding spears on shields, so that Cronus would hear only noise, not the sound of a baby's wail. And Cronus, hearing no cries, was satisfied. Back at his court, Rhea handed him a tightly bound bundle of cloth, a stone wrapped to look like a child. Without a glance, Cronus swallowed it, and just like that, the final child was agone. But far away, under the protection of shadows and song, Zeus grew. His childhood is shrouded in mystery. Some say he played with golden toys forged by Hephaestus before the god himself existed. Others claim bees fed him honey straight from their hives, and that eagles circled overhead even then, sensing the sky was his to claim. Some legends tell of a Malthia's horn broken by the infant Zeus in play, which became the cornucopia, the horn of plenty. An omen, perhaps, that this child would not devour, but give years past. And though time seemed slow in that cave, the world beyond was changing. The Titans ruled, but cracks had begun to form, small at first, hidden in shadow, but widening with each passing year. Zeus learned of his true heritage slowly. The nymphs told him stories not as lullabies, but as lessons about Cronus, about his brothers and sisters swallowed whole, and about the fate that hung above his father like a blade. Zeus, growing strong and quiet, did not rage. Not yet. Instead, he listened. He learned. He waited. There was no thunder yet in his voice, no lightning in his hand, only a promise whispered in the dark. That time could be turned, that fate could be faced, and that no prophecy could be stopped, but it could be fulfilled with courage rather than fear. And so when the moment came, Zeus left the cave not as a child, but as a storm gathering. He descended from the mountain with wind at his back, seeking allies. First Metis, the goddess of cunning, whose wisdom rivaled the stars. She gave him the emetic draught, a bitter potion powerful enough to shake the very bowels of Cronus. Then he returned, not with armies, not with fire, but with a cup. Cronus drank it unsuspecting, and from his gut the swallowed children returned, whole, unaged, divine. One by one they emerged into the world again as if reborn. Hestia, Demeter, Hera, Hades, Poseidon, together with Zeus, 6 siblings stood reunited, forged not by birth alone, but by loss, by waiting, and by the fire of purpose that had burned in the belly of time itself. And Cronus, he felt for the first time not prophecy, but panic. The golden dusk of his rule had dimmed. Zeus had arrived, but even then war was not immediate, not yet. The reunion was a quiet one, a long-awaited exhale. They did not speak of vengeance that night, only of return. There would be war. There would be the shattering of mountains, the division of sky and sea and underworld. But first there was this: a brother found, a sister embraced, a mother vindicated, and far below in the cave on Mount Dict, the wind stirred through the hollow once more, empty now, its secret no longer sleeping. The child had become the future, and the future had begun to move. The roar of war had passed. The Titanomachy, the great war between gods and titans, was over. Mountains had split, oceans had boiled. For 10 long years, the very sky had trembled with the sound of conflict, as brother fought father, and the old gave way to the new. Cronus and the elder Titans were cast down, chained in the dark chasm of Tartarus, far beneath the earth where no sun could reach. And from the silence that followed, a new world emerged. Zeus, lord of the sky, Poseidon, lord of the sea, Hades, lord of the underworld. 3 brothers, 3 realms. The world divided not by violence, but by lot, each drawing his domain from a helmet, and accepting it with the stillness of gods who had seen too much war. But there was still one thing left to build: a home. Not just a palace, not a fortress, nor a monument to victory. A place above the mortal world, above the storms and sorrows, where the divine could dwell in peace. They looked to the highest peak in Greece, a mountain so tall that its summit disappeared into cloud. a mountain untouched by time, immune to erosion, hidden from mortals by mist and reverence. Mount Olympus. There on those cold and shining heights, the gods built their new world. It did not rise overnight. No forge shaped it. No tools carved it from stone. Olympus came into being as all divine things do, willed into existence through power, vision, and the resonance of myth. 12 thrones were set in a perfect circle, each one gleaming with a light that was not of this earth. No two were the same. Hera's was wrought with vines and stars. Demeter's smelled faintly of soil. Poseidon's pulsed gently with the rhythm of tides. Zeus's throne stood at the center. Larger, yes, but not imposing. It shimmered with sky-colored stone, as if made from cloud and thunder in equal parts. Here the Olympians gathered, not to rule with iron, but to keep balance. Law, harvest, wisdom, music, love, war, fire, and hearth, all the forces of mortal life were given voice, each one seated around the divine circle, and though they were gods, they quarreled, they laughed, they loved, they made mistakes, for Olympus was no place of distant perfection. It was a mirror of the world below, only taller, older, more radiant. The halls of Olympus stretched endlessly, yet always felt close. Pillars of gold and ivory wound towards ceilings unseen. Courtyards bloomed with flowers that never faded. Breezes carried music that needed no players. The sun rose there first and lingered longer. In the center was the hearth of Hestia, a fire that never died, though no wood was ever added. Around it, the gods gathered not as rulers, but as kin. Aphrodite strolled among roses that bowed in her wake. Apollo's lyre sang of dawn, and Artemis hunted silently in moonlit groves. Ares trained in a courtyard that echoed with the clash of phantom swords, while Athena wrote in silence, her quill scratching truths into air itself. Even Dionysus wandered its vineyards, grapes ever ripe, laughter trailing behind him like mist. Olympus became not only a place, but a rhythm, a pulse above the world. Mortals prayed toward it, hoping for favor. Poets dreamed of it, though none could find the path. Only the chosen gods, demigods and rare heroes, could walk its mist-wrapped slopes. But to the gods Olympus was home. Zeus would sit upon his throne and gaze out beyond the clouds. Not in conquest, but in quiet thought. He did not forget the cave where he had once been hidden, nor the stone his mother gave Cronus. It lay now at Delphi, a monument to deception and to survival. Olympus held many chambers, many secrets. The Horae tended the gates, ensuring no uninvited presence entered. Hebe poured nectar, youth eternal, into golden cups. Hermes arrived with tales from the mortal realm, winged sandals flashing as he touched down on polished marble. Yet for all its splendor, Olympus remained serene. It was not noisy, not brash. The gods, for all their power, often moved gently through its halls. After centuries of war, they cherished stillness. The wind there sang softly. The rain fell only when it was needed. Even the thunder, Zeus's voice, was rare, and when it spoke, it echoed with meaning, not wrath. Time moved differently atop Olympus. A moment could last an age. A day could feel like a dream. There was no hunger there, no cold. Only the cycles of light and darkness, of song and silence, of vision and rest. From this heavenly home, the Olympians watched over the world, not as tyrants, but as ancient presences. They intervened rarely, and when they did, it was often with ambiguity. For gods did not see time as mortals did. They moved through myth, not minutes. Olympus was both mountain and mystery. A real peak, yet also a symbol, a place and an idea. It stood for order after chaos, light after shadow, harmony after the great war that had torn the cosmos. And beneath it, the world turned. Mortals lived and died. Cities rose and fell. Prayers drifted upward like smoke. And now, dear listener, as the final threads of this story settle around us like a warm twilight veil, we drift with the gods into a world of stillness. Mount Olympus stands undisturbed, glowing faintly in the starlight. Its halls echo no longer with debate or song. but with the hush of contentment. The battles have long since ended. The Titans are bound. The earth, the sea, and the sky have each found their voice. Harmony has returned to the cosmos, and in that harmony, we too may rest. The tale began with chaos, formless, silent, waiting to become. From that emptiness came Gaia, the earth, and Uranus, the sky. Night fell, and darkness walked. Sea embraced land. Love bloomed in unexpected places. Time was born and tested. Power rose, fell, and rose again. We watched as titans ruled the world, only to be overthrown by the children they feared. We saw gods born in secret, raised in hidden caves, and crowned in thrones shaped by fate. Fire flickered in caves, storms split the sky, and light slowly returned to the world. All of it woven into the great fabric of mythology, not as isolated tales, but as parts of a breathing whole. Each god a thread, each struggle a knot, each resolution a calm stroke of the loom. Now that tapestry is complete. Zeus watches the heavens, holding thunder not as a weapon, but as a symbol of clarity. Hera tends to the bonds of family, though they strain and stretch with time. Poseidon listens to the sea's endless pulse. Hades guards the underworld's gates, not with cruelty, but with quiet certainty. Elsewhere, Apollo's lyre sends golden notes into the dawn. Artemis walks among the silver trees of the moon. Athena, with eyes like still water, crafts wisdom from silence. Even Ares, god of war, sharpens no blades tonight, and you, dear traveler, have walked alongside them, not as a warrior, not as a god, but as a witness. You've stood at the edge of chaos and seen what can rise from it. You've walked ancient lands where rivers whisper names long forgotten. You've passed through caves where infant gods were cradled and watched thrones carved from sky, storm, and stone. You've heard the laughter of nymphs and the footsteps of titans. You've stood beneath constellations born of love and loss and felt the cool breeze from Olympus kiss your skin. Now the story slows. Night deepens, not with fear, but with softness. The stars blink above, countless and calm. Their patterns tell old tales, but not loudly, just enough to hum through the sky like a lullaby. Somewhere the hearth of Hestia glows. A cup of ambrosia rests untouched. A wind chime made of celestial silver sways in a breeze that no mortal can feel. The divine world does not sleep, but it quiets. And so should we. Let this mythology settle into your thoughts like soft sand, into a shoreline. Let the noise of the waking world drift far away, replaced by the gentle rhythm of ancient voices. They no longer shout or demand. They sing, they whisper, they hum like the turning of the stars. You are safe here, in the cradle of story, in the hush of the heaven, in a space where chaos has been calmed, and every god has found their place. Time, once wild and unraveling, now breathes gently. Nothing is rushed, nothing is broken. Everything rests in balance. Even the mightiest powers must pause. Even immortality needs a moment of stillness. Let your breath join that stillness. Let your thoughts grow heavy and slow, like petals folding in moonlight. There is nothing left to solve, nothing left to hear, only the lingering warmth of tales well told and the quiet welcome of sleep. Close your eyes, if you haven't already. The gods are watching, but not judging, just watching as stars do, as wind does, as stories always have, and in their gaze you drift, beyond Olympus, beyond myth, into rest, into peace, into sleep.